Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have a little bit of bad news, and I feel like we've actually had a pretty good stint, I'd say, of pretty good news going on throughout these past few weeks, past few months, and every now and then I feel like we gotta go and work in some of the bad news, especially when it comes to restocks, when it comes to these next-gen consoles, and, well, all of that news. So we actually have some official statements coming over here from the Xbox CFO, Tim Stewart, who's actually had a chance to go and kind of talk more about their restocks, production of the consoles, movement of the consoles kind of going on, and I'm going to kind of chime in my own thoughts and opinions on this too as well. It's actually a little bit more of a more recent comment too, so like it could kind of go like it's not the best, I'd probably go and say it. And as you guys may have even seen, like this past few weeks have been a little bit more of a weirder restock side, at least in my opinion, especially towards the PlayStation 5 side too as well. So a lot of stuff to go talk about, a lot of things to go bring on up, and as well throughout the video, if you guys would like to go and chime in your own thoughts, feel free to. Would love to go hear them in the comment section down below. Like I said, kind of bad news, but a lot of the stuff when it comes to these restocks have been kind of a big ebb and flow. Some good, some bad, depends on a lot of different stuff. So let's go talk about it. As well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway, we have the Amazon links down below for the PS5 itself, the Target links as well down below, and the Twitter and Twitch stream. You guys want to go check those on out down below. So with this, we have some very, very intriguing articles to bring it up over here for this in regards to the Xbox CFO. So for this, we actually have an article over here from Game Industry, a little bit more as well, over from this other one, where the Xbox CFO expects supply chain issues to now continue through 2022. Tim Stewart said that things could remain rocky, including during the holiday season. So we've had these restocks for quite some time at this point. Like it's been around like getting closer to 2 years, rounding up to 2 years. And man, just one day it'll be normal. One day we'll all have our stuff, and one day we can move on. Now, it's a little bit in that same regard, though, because I do kind of feel like some of the hype has been dying down, thankfully. But it does also mean that the third-party prices are still kind of high when it comes to scalpers and all of that. So, Xbox CFO Tim Stewart reportedly has now said that supply chain issues that have been affecting the games market will likely continue all throughout the rest of the year. That's kind of an obvious one right there, mainly because like no matter what, even probably for the next, I'd say 24 months, there's still going to be some sort of hiccups, there's going to still be some sort of issues, there's still going to be a lot of drama either way, and even for a lot of folks still their consoles, until it's like readily, consistently available on Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, or in stores on literal shelves, I'd probably say, you guys could agree or disagree, that's still like somewhat of a supply issue. So until it's fully there, we're not really fully seeing it all around. So an investor call hosted by financial services company Barid, Stewart said that he expected that the supply chain environment could remain rocky through 2022 and the holiday season. So I would, if anything, I would be kind of hoping after all this time that the holiday season would at least be good, you know, like I still have this cold over here, like hopefully this will be gone by, the holiday season of 2022. But it does kind of stink because we'll go through 3 holiday seasons if they're still going to have supply chain issues, still going to have production issues and restock issues. And this is not cool. A lot of this also, I'm sure you guys can assume, would be also factored in by the PlayStation 5, probably also as well with the Steam Deck and Switch 2 just tied on in, which does kind of stink. Like we want to have proper normal stock and proper normal restocks, so seeing all these non-happy and non-vibing stuff, it's not a good vibe. So the supply chain is impacted by the more so the recent lockdowns in China, he added. And we've kind of covered that too a little bit on our channel where there's like a few weeks of like production and factory production has been kind of being shut down in general. So manufacturers are facing 2 issues, according to Stewart. Number 1 is limited parts, which he reportedly said favor the actual Xbox Series S consoles. And then number 2 is the elevated logistics pricing pressure margins. So with all those are kind of like the biggest focuses we have to be on the worried out for. And a lot of this stuff kind of would make sense. We talked about this a lot on this channel where basically when it comes to the Series S, a lot of it is limited parts. So like when it comes to easier semiconductors and easier like smaller nano nodes, that basically is kind of like for the Switch, it's using older hardware. The Xbox Series S using older hardware. So it's not as in demand, not as expensive, easier to procure because we have had so many extra years of just stock in general and go from there. So basically for this one too, we also have the supply chain issues that have been plaguing the game industry for over the past few years. And most recently, Sony reduced its PlayStation 5 forecast to 18 million units for the next fiscal year due to the ongoing shortage of semiconductors and other vital components. Last month as well, Nintendo's full year results showed a slight dip in sales too, also due to the semiconductor shortage, and in May, Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger also shared his concerns too as well. So this kind of ties into part 2 of this too, where it's kind of like the same article just discussing it too as well, and you guys can kind of go and see that they've been trying to push for this one. So Stewart said multiple issues too on top of this, as having a chance to see, favored more of the Xbox Series as console and all of this. So some of the other statements too, I want to kind of talk about this in terms of all this. Looking ahead at the current end quarter ending in June, Microsoft CFO Amy Hood said, in gaming, we expect revenue to actually decline in the mid to high single digits, driven by lower engagement hours year over year, as well as constrained console supply. We expect Xbox content and services revenue to decline mid-single digits through engagement hours are expected to remain higher than pre-pandemic levels too as well. And the same kind of similar articles too, where it's like, hey, Nintendo's president said in May that the global chip shortage could continue to hamper the Switch production too as well. There is no end in sight to the semiconductor shortage at this point, Shuntaro Furukawa said. So we have a lot of things to go bring about when it talks about this for this article and everything with it. So one kind of big thing to note, they are still saying that there might be like some pretty good production still going on when it comes to the Xbox Series S. Now, I think a lot of us are cool with that. We kind of expect that. It's like kind of like the Switch. Like the Switch is just churning out consoles. And although it may not be, as high def, people are still buying it. People still want it. People still are going to buy it. There's always new kids being born. Well, it's just how it works. But the one thing is more on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X side, where if even Xbox, who has once again confirmed they have paid money for chip priority, so they want to make sure that they're getting as many semiconductors as they possibly can, and they want to keep on making as many Xbox Series X's as they possibly can, that's probably going to be a really bad sign for the PlayStations, because Sony themselves are trying their best to message as many different types of companies as they can to get as many consoles as they can. Like we've been seeing reports now of them working with other different types of companies, other different types of semiconductor platforms, and trying to find different people to talk to and, use to go and make consoles. So that's, I think, one of the bigger things with that is that if they're still having issues, and Xbox is going on record with multiple really higher ups in the company confirming that they're going to be having issues, that's a really bad sign. And this is also, once again, after like 18, 19 months of consoles being produced and made and sold and restocks. So for me, who's done a lot of this tracking and watching all this stuff, it really is a bad feeling because we just want to be able to go make and get the consoles. We just want people to be able to go get their Xbox Game Pass or their PlayStation 5s and have a good vibe. But sadly, time and time again, it just seems like it's constantly holding us back. And like we've also kind of said too, it kind of does bottleneck. So when it comes to China and it comes to their like lockdowns, if you go and have a few weeks, few months of lockdowns, that's a lot more impactful because that also means you basically have to wait for time to start on up. And then now instead of having, let's say, 1 million things you have to make, now we're at 1.5 million things you'd have to make in the first place. And then at that same point, if there's any more hiccups, then it goes to 1.6 million, then 1.7, then 1.8. And then it just never basically kind of has a chance to get back on up. And with all these companies, especially in tech, they're always trying to get more stock. They're always trying to get more consoles. They're always trying to get more semiconductors. We have cars, we have people, we have Tesla, we have monitors, we have laptops. And it just kind of seems like nothing's ever going to happen. And it's kind of a struggle too, because they're even assuming that people will even be playing less games, which probably means that the demand would probably go down. And even though there is a lower demand and like there's less service revenue expected from like say for Game Pass and play even the PlayStation, etc., they're still expecting demand to be so tight that they're not even able to go and sell these consoles. So it is kind of bad news. Like, first and foremost, lockdowns and production issues are always bad no matter what. But part two, which is going to be rough for the PlayStation, Xbox still, mainly because we still have a lot of botters. We still have a lot of scalpers. We're still having all these semiconductor and all these other supply chain issues nonstop. And it really just doesn't seem like it's getting better. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts. Like, do you think it's still been kind of hard? Or are you guys still trying to find and get your consoles? Like, it does kind of stink. And like gaming news, I just kind of wish we'd have a chance to get our consoles already after all this time. So like I said, give me your thoughts and comments down below. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below. We have the Webull and Coinbase down below. Make sure you guys are signed up for the Amazon PS5 and the Target links down below to go check and see, and go look at all the restocks and everything else all throughout today. Love you guys.